All right, boxing promoter Ben Gray joins us live now from London, of course, to do a review of that fight. Well, Ben, very pleased to have you with us this evening.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Right, Ben, did the fight meet your expectation as a promoter of the sport?
Yeah, it was a great show. Frank Moran put on a great show at Wembley, as he always does. There was about 90,000 people there. The fight itself was excellent. We saw Usyk that we hadn't really seen previously. He was quite aggressive, and Daniel came to fight. So it was a great fight and a great show.
Right. Dubois' dreams of becoming the first Briton to unify the division in the four-belt era was shattered in an emphatic fashion. What do you think that he did wrong in the ring?
Well, let's get something straight. I think that Usyk is an all-time great, and if you think about it, he's beaten Fury, he's beaten AJ, he's beaten all comers. So it's not so much what Daniel did wrong, whilst there is always room for improvement. It's that Usyk is that great that he is a very difficult man for any person in history to have beaten on that night.
Well, as a promoter, I remember full well, after the match, he was asked by a reporter if he sees himself as a great now. But Usyk, in his humble fashion, said, well, he doesn't see himself as that. But when you look at this match, where does it leave or rank Usyk as a boxer?
It's always very difficult to rate someone whilst they're still in their career. If you think about Lennox Lewis, during his time, he was never really given respect whilst he was fighting, but now he's gone down as an all-time great. I think we recognise now Usyk is sort of top 5 heavyweights of all time. Some would argue actually 1 or 2. And perhaps his victories will get better with age. But I think he's certainly in the conversation as one of the all-time greats. And if, of course, he goes on to remain undefeated, he'll equal Rocky Marciano's record of retiring undefeated. So that would be an achievement as well.
Well, Ben, let's look at some of the stats. Staggering, of course, they are. Look, Alexander Usyk, we'll look at it in terms of punches. Alexander Usyk had 153 punches to 179, Daniel Dubois. And then in terms of punches landed, Usyk had 57, and then Daniel had 35. In terms of accuracy, Usyk had 37% to Daniel's 19%. And the total jabs as well, Usyk had 75, while Daniel Dubois had 104. And in terms of the landed jabs, Usyk had 21 to Daniel's 11. If you look at all the stats, there is an indication that Usyk was superior in almost every of the levels. What do you think?
Yep. No, I totally agree. I mean, without seeing those stats beforehand, that's the analysis I would have given. He is more accurate. He's better with his punches. He's also good at obviously avoiding those punches that are coming back, which reflects on why Daniel's not landing so many. I was very fortunate to be in Daniel's dressing room before the fight, and I was part of the entourage that walked into the ring. But even being part of Daniel's team, you've got to appreciate how great Usyk is, and and he would have beaten most heavyweights who have ever lived on that night. He was really up for it, and he came to win, and he did it in emphatic style.
Well, if you remember full well, Ben, on Friday, you and I talked about this fight, and I asked you about the age difference between the two individuals, if that will make any difference. But from all indications, this has proved the age-long saying right, which is that age is just a number, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I was not expecting him to get old overnight, but I was expecting there to be some miles on the clock. And actually, he looked probably as good as I've ever seen him. I've been lucky enough to witness him 4 or 5 times live, and he was in tremendous shape. And he has certainly, on that performance, more than enough left in the tank to carry on for a few years. The danger, of course, is that they never know when to stop, boxers, and actually, what more does he want to achieve? Maybe he wants to fight back in Ukraine, but the danger is that people go on too long and then they end up losing. But on that performance, he's not going to lose anytime soon.
Now let's go to the most interesting part of it, which is the purse, the split, the purse split. Alexander Usyk had $132 million. That's about 65% of the total purse. To Daniel's $71 million, about 35% of the total purse. I mean, what? That's a huge, fun to share, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, those figures are quite large. So the percentage split might be accurate, but I don't know how accurate the total figures are for that, because that's a lot of money. And I know for a fact that Saudi Arabia haven't paid as much of that. So I'd be surprised if that was the actual figures for a London show. But the percentage split looks about right and seems perfectly reasonable.
Now, is a third defeat for Dubois in his 25 contests so far. How difficult will it be for him to rebuild, from this crushing defeat?
Well, it depends how he's interpreted it. He's obviously come back previously, and people previously advised him to quit. He's only 27 years of age. If you think about it, Usyk won't be around forever, and the belts will then split. So there's certainly another chance for him to go away, regroup, and come back in, say, 6 months' time, when there might be the four belts splitting, and therefore an opportunity for him to fight again for the World Heavyweight title, and depending on his fighting, being a very good chance of winning it. He's certainly young enough to come back, and if he looks at this fight and learns some lessons, I'm sure he can come back again and win a World Heavyweight title.
Well, of course, you couldn't be wrong on that. Even Usyk told him, look, you are a younger man, just go back, prepare, and come back big again. Well, Tyson Fury, has sounded Usyk out, for a trilogy. Would you like to see that, happen as a promoter of the sport?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was at the first fight, and I thought it was a brilliant display by Usyk. I had Usyk winning both of those fights, narrowly, but both of them winning. Tyson Fury would be probably one of the only men that would stand a chance against Usyk, but we've seen it twice before. I would be happy to watch that again. And Tyson Fury, you could never rule him out. So probably he's one of the few people in the world today that would give Usyk a good fight. But we have seen it twice before.
Okay, now we've talked about a British boxer. This time, let's talk about a Nigerian boxer, of course, who's on your team, Lawrence Okoli, who earned a wide unanimous decision over Kevin Lerena, of course, at Wembley. Tell us, how happy were you to see Lawrence win that fight?
Well, as an honorary Nigerian, I was very happy to see Lawrence win. He actually damaged his bicep early on in the fight. So whilst it wasn't perhaps a classic performance, he was fighting through an injury. And the main thing is that he got the win against a very good opponent, Lerena from South Africa. So, he's now positioned himself to fight. As I say, when the heavyweight title split up, he's going to have to take some time to recover, but he'll be in a really good position to fight for, one of the major titles as and when they split up.
So what next for Lawrence at the moment after this fight?
Well, recovery, because he tore his bicep in that fight. His left bicep was torn. So I would suggest he'll need 3 months, a minimum off to recover, and then he'll have to go into camp again. So we'll probably see him back in about 6 months' time as well.
Well, Ben Gray, boxing promoter, many thanks indeed for sharing your thoughts with us live from London.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, let's delve into the transfer market now. Liverpool have struck a deal to sign, of course, the highly rated striker Hugo Ekitike in a deal worth about £79 million. The Reds have been locked in negotiations with the German side Bayer Leverkusen. Ekitike only wanted Liverpool and is set to complete a medical in the coming days. The striker has agreed to join the Premier League champions on a 6-year deal. Now let's talk about another transfer story. Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford. Of course, this is Joe Carey's Arsenal, of course, are in talks with Sporting Lisbon to get this young man in, but the talks have been back and forth, but we hope that Arsenal will be able to complete the transfer. But United forward Marcus Rashford is in Spain at the moment to complete a season-long loan move to Barcelona. The 27-year-old arrived in Catalonia on Sunday night after getting permission from United to complete the formalities of a move to Barcelona. Images of Rashford arriving in Barcelona on a private jet circulated on social media, and of course talks between the Spanish giants and United have progressed very swiftly in the last week, with a deal being agreed in principle over the weekend. Meanwhile, Newcastle United, of course, Newcastle United have, that's Eddie Howe, says that he expects Liverpool target Alexander Isak to stay at the club despite strong interest from the Reds. The Premier League champions are ready to break the British transfer record to sign Isak despite already spending £160 million on Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen this summer. Isak will cost in advance of £125 million, and the Reds will move if they receive the encouragement from Newcastle. All right, at this point, let me bring in Busola Akiyemi, who joins us live now from London to take a look at these transfer stories. Well, Busola, very good to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Always a pleasure to be on the program.
Well, let's begin first of all with Liverpool's deal with Leverkusen for Hugo Ekitike. What do you think Hugo brings to the Liverpool side?
He was bought from Frankfurt. He's a very good striker. He's proven in the French league. He went to the German league, and he's a young player. I think Liverpool, they need to strengthen apparently after losing a player, unfortunately, through debt. And Ekitike is a very, very good player. He's been linked to virtually all the Premier League clubs. Last season, a lot of clubs were monitoring him and they wanted to buy him. I think at the stage Liverpool is, they need to compete. They might probably be letting go of Nunes, and they need a striker that could probably be a figurehead player for them. And I think buying a player with proven experience in the French and in the German league, I think it's a good one. A lot of teams are buying strikers now, and I think it's all about putting the money down, getting the player you want, and hopefully then you can compete. We saw what Chelsea did with Pedro. João Pedro, they bought him, they put the money down, and he single-handedly won them the Club World Championship. Football is about goal scoring, and once you put the money down, you get quality players and quality strikers to bang in the goals.
Well, Busola, Arsenal, of course, the manager says he's excited about the coming season, and here is a young man that they have been after, Joe Carey's. Well, what do you think he brings to the Arsenal side, just in case it comes to Arsenal?
I think a lot of people have been calling me the last few days, asking me what is happening with Gyökeres deal. Is it going to go through or not? And I think people need to understand there are a lot of factors when it comes to players transfer. A player could agree personal terms. The club could probably not agree terms with the selling club, might not agree terms with the buying club, and there are clauses that need to be ironed out. But I think with information I'm gathering, Gyökeres deal is 85% done. They just need to agree percentage basis and some incentives in terms of clauses where probably what they will get in terms of goal scoring and things like that. I think he's a player also. He's 28 though. We saw what he's done in the Portuguese league, scoring a wonderful goal. Last season he scored 44 goals. He scored in the Champions League, well experienced. He's played in England before, played in Coventry, so he knows the country very well. So I think he's a player that will come and develop and show what he has to offer. So I'm very excited that players like Gyökeres is coming to Arsenal.
All right, we cannot end the show without talking about our own Victor Osimhen. Well, Galatasaray, as we understand, are close to completing a move for Victor Osimhen. What do you think about this deal?
So Victor Osimhen will travel tomorrow to Turkey to complete his medicals. The deal is £75 million, which is a very, very good one for Galatasaray, because they bought a player they've been chasing for a while. So Galatasaray Napoli will get 75 million, but Galatasaray is paid 40 million now and 30 million next year. Also, Galatasaray will be giving Napoli 10% of future sales to Napoli, which is also a good one. Victor Osimhen will become the highest paid player ever in the history of Turkish league. Is going to be earning a whopping 18 million euros annually. That is really some money for Osimhen. I think it's a good one for Galatasaray. Everybody wanted Victor Osimhen in England, but fortunately, he just didn't walk through. He's gone to where he's wanted. And it's about football. You go to where you wanted. We saw what he did last season. He scored a whopping 37 goals in 41 appearances. He's somebody that can score goals, and he's rejected a 160 million euro deal to Saudi Arabia. So I think congratulations to Galatasaray. They got a player they wanted, and congratulations to Victor Osimhen. We are glad he's finally put his transfer saga to an end, and we hope to see him smile again.
Okay, Busola. Well, you mentioned some of the details of the transfer. 40 million euros to be paid immediately to Napoli, and then 35 million to be made in 1 year. There is also something else that is included in the deal, which is that he should not be sold to any Italian team within 2 years. So, what do you make of that in the clause?
I think it's something that I think which it's really, really good, because sometimes, because he has a certain clause in Italy, sometimes most of these clubs would probably let him go outside of Italy, and then they resell him again for him to come back to Italy. So I think it's a very wise clause to put in that contract. It's a very, very good decision from Napoli, because of course, if you really want him, pay him and don't let him come back to Italy in the next 2 years to probably hurt us. Those are the nitty-gritties of transfers. Most of these clauses need to be put in contracts, and also I forgot to add, if he scores 35 goals in a season, Napoli will be getting 5 million euros, which is also a very good clause in the contract as well.
All right, Busola, there is a sense in which Nigerian fans, as you mentioned earlier, had expected, Victor Osimhen to go to England and, of course, show the world what stuff that he's made of. But Busola Akieme, as always, we thank you very kindly for sharing your thoughts with us on Sports Desk.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.